You've been told that attraction is luck, that it's about looks, money, or just being yourself. But let's be honest, that advice hasn't gotten you very far, has it? Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Desire is not given, it's created. And not through effort or charm, but through power. Women don't crave what's easy. They don't crave what's obvious. They crave what's felt, but not held. They crave the man whose presence lingers in the room long after he's gone. The man they can't quite figure out. The man who doesn't need to be liked because he already owns the room. That's the difference between the average guy and the man who's unforgettable. So let me ask you something. What if you could make a woman crave you using pure psychological strategy? Not fake pickup lines, not needy validation, but real control, emotional control, strategic silence, tactical presence, power that plays in the shadows. Because here's what Machiavelli understood, and what most men still don't. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. You don't need her to like you to control the game. You need her to feel you when you're not around. You need her to wonder about you. You need her to feel the void you leave behind. This video is not for the weak. It's for men ready to master the 7 laws of desire Machiavellian principles that turn female indifference into obsession. If you're ready to stop being ignored and start being craved, let's begin. Law 1. Stop proving. Start withdrawing. Every time you try to prove your worth to a woman, you lose a little of it. Think about it. When you're constantly trying to impress her, texting her first, reacting to her stories, over-explaining your intentions, what you're really saying is, I'm not enough as I am. Let me earn your approval. And that mindset kills mystique faster than anything else. Here's what most men miss. A woman doesn't crave what's obvious. She craves what's just out of reach. Machiavelli understood this. He didn't chase influence. He created distance. He knew that power is never given to the eager. It's surrendered to the rare. So ask yourself, what happens when you suddenly withdraw? You text every day. She replies coldly. You feel the urge to fix it, but instead, you go silent. 1 day, 2 days, no good morning, no check-ins, just absence. And in that silence, a shift begins. She checks her phone. She wonders where you went. She scrolls through your profile. She rereads your last messages. Why? Because your value just increased. Not because you became someone else, but because you removed access. People crave what they fear losing. And when you're always available, always proving, always reaching, she never has to fear losing you. But when you step back, when you stop chasing and start commanding space, the balance of power flips. You're no longer the man begging for her time. You're the man she starts thinking about when the room gets quiet. Because now, you've created scarcity. And scarcity creates demand. So here's the first law of desire. Stop proving. Start withdrawing. Let her feel your absence before she ever earns your presence. That's how you become unforgettable, not through effort, but through restraint. Law 2. Crave is born in the mind, not the heart. We've been conditioned to believe that attraction is an emotional thing, that it grows from kindness, connection, and shared moments. But here's the truth Machiavelli would whisper in your ear. The heart only follows where the mind is unsettled. Craving doesn't begin when a woman feels secure. It begins when she feels unsure, when she doesn't quite know what you think of her, when she can't predict your next move, when she feels just a little off balance in your presence. That's where craving lives, not in comfort, but in curiosity. Let me ask you something. Have you ever obsessed over someone not because they treated you well, but because they left you wondering? That's not love. That's psychological tension, and it's powerful. I call it the mental echo effect when your absence is louder than your presence. When you drop just enough of yourself into her mind that she can't fully erase you. When she finds herself staring at your last message, not because it was romantic, but because it was incomplete. She wonders, not because she loves you, but because she doesn't fully know you. That gap, that lack of closure, is the emotional space where craving takes root. Women are emotional, yes, but the emotions that drive craving aren't clarity and kindness. They're confusion, ambiguity, mystery. You want her mind to work overtime. You don't need to be the nicest man. You need to be the man she can't figure out. So the second law is simple. Crave is born in the mind, not the heart. Forget the cliches about connection. Plant yourself in her head, not her hands. That's where obsession begins. Law 3. Be a puzzle, not a poem. There's something you need to understand. Clarity kills tension. Every time you explain yourself in full, every time you reveal your intentions without her asking, every time you open the book before she's even curious enough to turn the first page, you remove the spark. You make yourself obvious, predictable, easy. And easy isn't sexy. You see, a poem is beautiful, but you read it once, smile, and move on. A puzzle, on the other hand, that sticks with you. It makes you come back, turn it over, second guess yourself. A puzzle lingers. That's what you must become. Not a line of flattering words, but a man with layers, silence, contradiction, something that needs to be figured out. Machiavelli said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." In other words, perception matters more than truth. And in dating, mystery matters more than sincerity. Let that sink in. If she can predict your next move, she loses interest. If she knows everything you feel, thinks she understands your world, and sees no challenge left, the story ends. But if she senses there's something behind your silence, that you're holding something back, not out of fear, but because you choose to, now you've flipped the script. Now she's trying to solve you. Now she's paying attention. Now she's invested. And here's the secret. When a woman invests mentally, emotionally follows. So the third law is this: be a puzzle, not a poem. Let her wonder. Let her question. Let her crave the pieces of you she hasn't yet seen. Because in the game of desire, it's not about being known. It's about being unforgettable. Law 4. The illusion of detachment. Here's the paradox of attraction. Sometimes, the man who cares less is craved more. But it's not about genuinely being cold or disinterested. It's about appearing that way. Because in the game of power, perception is everything. You may feel desire. You may be intrigued. You may want her. But she should never see it before she's earned it. That's what separates the man who gets ghosted from the man who lives in her mind. The Machiavellian move is this: project calm detachment while calculating every step. Make her question what you're thinking. Not because you said nothing, but because you revealed nothing. You match her energy, not out of passivity, but as a mirror. If she pulls back, you pull further. If she replies slow, you reply slower. Not out of pettiness, but precision. You're not punishing, you're signaling. I don't need this, I choose this. That subtle shift changes everything. Now she's wondering, is he not that into me, or is he just not easily impressed? Did I lose his interest, or did I never really have it? Is he unavailable, or just in demand? That emotional contrast creates tension, and tension fuels desire. Because here's the deeper truth. When a man appears indifferent, it challenges a woman's ego. It pulls her out of comfort and into curiosity. And curiosity is where craving begins. The key is to detach emotionally while staying engaged strategically. You're not checking out, you're stepping back to let her step forward. So here's Law 4. Master the illusion of detachment. Let her chase answers you never give. Let her lean in while you lean just slightly out. In the art of seduction, sometimes the man who seems to care less is the one she can't stop thinking about. Law 5. Shift the frame. Make her chase. There's a silent war happening in every interaction, the battle for frame control. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men hand over the frame before they even speak. They act like she's the prize. They try to win her, impress her, convince her, which means, from the very start, they've already lost. Because in the world of attraction, the one who chases always holds less power than the one who chooses. If she feels like you're lucky to have her, she relaxes. She puts you in orbit. She tests, ignores, pulls back because you've already surrendered the throne. But when she feels like she's the one being evaluated, everything shifts. You become scarce. You become high value. You become a man of standards, and standards create magnetism. Machiavelli never asked for approval. He positioned himself as the authority, even in chaos, and you must do the same. Without saying a word, without flexing or bragging, you imply, "You're interesting, but I haven't decided if you're worth my time." I don't chase women, I attract them. I have options, and I choose carefully. You don't say it, you signal it. How? You respond when it's convenient, not instantly. You don't explain where you were. You let the silence do the talking. You share just enough to intrigue, never enough to satisfy. And the result? She leans in. She initiates. She adjusts her behavior to keep your attention. Because now, you've flipped the frame, and she's the one trying to earn you. So here's Law 5. Shift the frame. Make her chase, because the man who sets the standard never needs to pursue. He simply waits, while the world moves to meet him. Law 6. Absence is the sharpest weapon. Here's what most men never learn. Presence doesn't create value. Absence does. You can text her daily, compliment her endlessly, be there every time she needs you, and still, she won't crave you. Why? Because you've given her certainty, predictability, control. There's no tension, no suspense, no reason to wonder where you are or who has your attention. Machiavelli didn't dominate. With presence, he controlled through perception. He vanished when it served him. And in doing so, he became unforgettable. That's what you must do. After you've sparked interest, disappear. Not out of spite, not to punish, but to create emotional cliffhangers, moments where she doesn't know what happens next. That unanswered message, that unreturned call, that weekend where your name never shows up. She might act like she doesn't care, but in that silence, her mind starts spinning. Did I say something wrong? Why did he go quiet? Is he with someone else? Is he over me? Or just done playing games? That emotional friction, the anticipation, the guessing, is the beginning of obsession. It's called scarcity bias, the psychological principle that what's less available feels more valuable. And when your presence becomes a given, your worth drops. But when you vanish at just the right moment, when you cut the interaction mid-rise, when you withhold your energy while she still wants more, you don't lose value. You become legend. So here's Law 6. Absence is the sharpest weapon. Use it strategically. Create distance when she expects connection. Disappear when she expects engagement. Because the man who's always there is forgettable. But the one who leaves her hanging, that's the one she remembers. Law 7. Make her fear losing you. Craving doesn't come from comfort. It comes from risk. The fear that something valuable might slip away. And too many men remove that fear completely. They stick around no matter how she acts. They offer their attention, love, and loyalty on a silver platter, without requiring anything in return. But when there's no risk of losing you, there's no urgency to value you. This is where your power lies, in the perception of loss. You don't have to say, "You'll miss me." You don't threaten. You don't explain. You imply through your actions that you are not permanent. You are a presence, but never a possession. A woman must feel that your attention is earned, not assumed. That your presence is a gift, not a guarantee. And when she starts to sense that you're slipping away, when your energy pulls back, your response is slow, and your focus shifts to your life, your goals, and your options, something switches inside her. Now she's no longer thinking, "Does he like me?" Now she's thinking, what if I lost him? What if another woman gets what I didn't value? That fear, that tiny voice, whispering, I might have blown it. That's what makes her crave you on a deeper level. Machiavelli said, it is much safer to be feared than loved, because fear triggers action. Love can be lazy, but fear, that wakes people up. So here's Law 7. Make her fear losing you, not through anger, through elevation. Be the man she realizes, too late, she can't replace. Because in the end, desire lives where loss feels possible. Now you understand something. Most men never will. Desire isn't about being available, it's about being in control. These laws aren't games. They're not manipulation, they're strategy, the emotional intelligence most men lack. You don't need a perfect jawline or a million followers to be craved. You need presence, restraint, power, because the man who is chased is never the one doing the chasing. So let me ask you, which law hit the hardest? Drop it in the comments. I read every one, and I'll be replying personally to a few of you with insights tailored to your situation. And if you're ready to go deeper, to learn how to control not just attraction, but emotion itself, make sure you're subscribed. In the next video, we'll break down the art of emotional control, how to stay cold when she gets close, play the game, or be played. I'll see you there.
Right now, there are 2 videos on your screen handpicked just for you. Click to watch them. I'm sure you'll love every second.